morning, guys. Sorry, a little late today. Had to get a haircut. I had my barber. Shout out to Eric the barber. Eric Fades. Went in early for me today. Woke up at 6 o'clock. So I did the opposite of sleeping in. Yeah, congrats on any puts. Nice downside this morning, guys. I don't have a schedule for us today just because I'm running a little behind, but I have a good idea of already what we need to be looking at. So, as you guys know, FOMC minutes is today. That's why we have that as the title. And I think the market is pricing in, starting to price in the balance sheet reduction a little bit more. We saw some Fed presidents talk yesterday about let me pull it up for you. I'll show you. Pull up the there we go. I don't know how to pronounce their name. Brainerd. So Brainerd, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce this woman's name. But she said yesterday that they should expect the Fed sees a balance sheet reduction soon and at a rapid pace. Now, when that came out yesterday, things got a little ugly intraday. We started to see some pretty harsh reaction off that. It was very sudden, very quick. So this is just a good example of that news that is unexpected, that is a little bit off the what the expectations were, right? And that's what we saw intraday yesterday, and that invalidates technicals, right? That's one of those events where we say, hey, sometimes you get these news events, these headlines that invalidate technicals, and that is sort of what happened yesterday. So right here, sees balance sheet reduction soon and at a rapid pace. This is what sort of messed up our intraday move yesterday. So I think this came out right around, you can see it on the intraday, guys, right around, plus she's a dove, yeah, exactly. So right around 10 o'clock, guys, you see this sharp dip intraday? Yeah, I mean, it's going to blow away both my swings. Facebook is going to be a loser today, and Costco will probably be a loser today. Walmart, hopefully, does well for me, but yeah, my two break and retest trades are going to be donezo here. But kept it small yesterday because we knew FOMC was coming. Felt a little bit of downside on tech yesterday. Didn't expect this much of a morning downside, but unfortunate. That's just sort of how it's going to work out for me today. So gonna have to close those for some losers. Hopefully Walmart pays some of that off. So we'll look at everything today, guys, as usual. Nasdaq, S&P. We'll look at some names that are breaking down today. We'll take a look at what some levels that we need to watch out for. And again, guys, 2 o'clock. I'll pull up the economic calendar. Pull it up for us here. Economic calendar. I guess I already had it open, actually. Yeah, I could go back and say I should have done this, should have done that, but I was okay with the size that I was getting into, right? So I was in, about $150 on Facebook. I was in about $150 on Walmart, and a little bit larger on Costco. But I understood the the risk I was taking on. That's why I just went really small, guys. I mean, $150 is. You got to make sure that you can say $150 is less than 1% of your portfolio. So, when you take some risks, you got to understand what's going on. And I knew yesterday what I was getting myself into. I said it in the video. If you watch the video, I knew that FOMC minutes was coming. It was a very unpredictable time, but I like to test the break and retest at times. So I put some risk on, and I'm accepting of my losses. That's really, you're going to lose. I'm not too upset about, me losing today. It is what it is. I put myself in that situation. So, FOMC, 2 o'clock today, Wednesday, April 6th. You guys can see that right here. 2 o'clock, that's going to be interesting. What are they going to say? Is it, is Jerome, sorry, let me restart here, because FOMC minutes, we won't get talking, right? There's no Jerome Powell press conference. Will they reiterate in the minutes what Brainerd talked about yesterday? Are they going to reiterate the rapid balance sheet reduction? That's sort of what I think a lot of eyes are going to be on. I think it's going to be all focused on the balance sheet reduction now. I think people want to see more insight into what their plan is there. I think that's going to be basically the entire story, because we know, right? We know the plan for interest rates. At least we think we know the plan. Now, if that changes, that's another ugly thing that could cause problems. If they increase that rate, or if they rapidly increase it, whatever their key word is, then yes, I think it gets worse. But I think all eyes will be on balance sheet reduction. So FOMC minutes, 2 o'clock today. Tomorrow, jobless claims, and then that's pretty much it. So that's today, right? That's today. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. I don't have a schedule, but we're gonna look at all of our normal suspects here today. So here, let's look at Nasdaq. So obviously very ugly right now, guys. You can see here in the pre-market, we have dropped about 1.64%, right around 1.7% here since around the highs. What is that? That's right around 3 a.m. this morning. Very far downside here, right? You can see yesterday, ugly day, and we continue it. You can't even see it on your screen. That's how low it is into today. Now, what did the Nasdaq do that I think is that's Eastern time, 2 p.m. So just to let everyone know, anything that's reported for the market is always going to be in Eastern time. It's market time. Eastern time is market time. So this is an ugly breakdown right here, right? You guys can see right here, it's sort of breaking down of a key level. This is around this 14,007 level, and you can see on the daily chart, we definitely broke down. And what did we do today, right? What did we create in the pre-market today? We created a lower low. That is the signs of, do you think we have been leaning too bullish? You gotta get bullish. You get bullish here, and you start to find reasons to turn bearish, up here. And now, I'm never going to try to guess where the top is, right, guys? I'm never going to get, this area and this area perfectly right. It's very difficult to get this area and this area perfect. If you get these areas perfect, congratulations, right? It's difficult. It's difficult to get this bullish, and it's difficult to catch this bearish. What you can catch and what is a little bit easier, and what I like to get, where I make most of my money, is in this area between, as we start to rally higher and as we start to see clear breakdowns. So, it's not going to be easy to catch the exact top and exact bottom. If you're trying to do that, it's a tall task. So now, moving into today, I can see a lot more reason as to where this breakdown is coming in, and I can see why you would want to turn more bearish here or be a little bit more careful, because you can see the clear lower high and lower low that has formed now. This morning, as we talk right now, it's the first lower low in the last, what is that? It's like in the last week, right? So now I can be a little bit more comfortable on the downside, because now I can see clearly we are making lower lows and lower highs. So did I get caught up on a few bullish trades up here? Yeah, but, I did really well on this push, and I got caught up on maybe a few bullish trades up here, like you guys saw yesterday, my Facebook and my Costco. But it is what it is, right? We could have just easily saw this, right? I mean, maybe not. Maybe, there's definitely economic reasons to why this is falling. So maybe you could have foreseen it, but I don't like to try to catch these areas. Now I know the confirmation is there, and now I see the lower low. So we can clearly see here, if we go to let's go to the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, guys, right here, look at this, right? So you can see, you have the same name as my cousin? Okay. You can see right here, guys, look at the 4-hour chart, right? We have made a lower low. So that's my main thing today. That's definitely a sign to weakness. You can see, guys, this morning, right around the lows of last Friday were around 14,750. And you can see this morning we sliced right through that. So I think today, the downside continues as long as you are below that 14,750, because this is the first indication of a lower low, lower high starting to form here, right? You can see right here, you are starting to get in a little bit of a downtrend versus where previously we were in an uptrend. We lost momentum at this major resistance, and we have made a lower low. So if I had to say, if I had to watch anything today, guys, I would be looking for downside. I would be looking for that breakdown of Friday's lows. We can go to the hourly chart and we can see that a little bit more clear right here, guys. Very clear. So this definitely makes me on the downside. This definitely makes me bearish. Why? Because it is a very clean break of previous support, very clean break of Friday's lows, and that should cause the momentum lower. Now, if you get a push back into it and you reject it, great. That's a fantastic entry, right? If you get a push back into Friday's lows, hold it as resistance, that would be even better. If we see some type of fake push to the upside today and find some rejections there, that would be great because that would provide a pretty nice downside opportunity, in my opinion. So today, first thing to remember, FOMC minutes, it's not the best time to trade if you are a newer trader. If you're not used to volatility, there's going to be probably some volatility. I'm sure the morning's going to be pretty slow and pretty choppy until 2 o'clock. That's usually what we see. But this is definitely, number 2 part of today. I would definitely look for rejections. This is a very clear breakdown, a very clear lower low today, guys. And you can clearly see the rejections that came in here. So at this point, I think the only way you can be bullish or only way this market starts to heat up again, like we saw in the previous 2 weeks, is if you get this break. I think it's very easy now to say, okay, we need to be careful of this upside resistance. It is extremely clear that we cannot get through that level, and we are starting to lose momentum very clearly. We are now making our first lower low of the last week. So now that confirmation sets in for me, now I can be a little bit more comfortable, because before, yes, we were weak yesterday, but we were still trading in this channel. So when we're trading in the channel, I could foresee, anything. I can foresee some random pop like this. I can foresee a random downside like this, right? But now it is clear that we are out of the channel and we are making lower lows. So confirmation is there today for me. Definitely going to look to see if I can play anything to the downside. Not going to want to chase it per se, but definitely want to see if that weakness sort of creeps in all day today, or at least before 2 o'clock. So this is what I'd be looking at, guys. Hourly chart, clear breakdown. I would be looking at these levels right here, 14,450. Why is that? 14,450 is that previous stair-stepping pattern. You guys can see right here. 14,450 was a previous resistance, and support. Support again. And that would probably be where I think this market could sell off to, right around this 14,450. You have a stair step here that has broken, and you really don't have much until this 14,450. So that is where I think this market will try to move down to. If we continue weak all day today, if the FOMC causes more downside, then I would see 14,450 being tested right down to here. It's about another 150 points. Maybe not today, but I definitely think that I don't think the market can just hold up in this random zone. I think it needs to either touch this downside or it needs to retest this upside, right? So that's what I'm looking for today. 14,450 to the downside, and then looking to see if you get any type of fake push. Are we going to reject 14,750? If we get a fake push, I'm looking for the rejection. Something like this. Hey, you just you got to make sure you the perfect time to blow up the account, guys, the only way you can blow up an account is if you have terrible position sizing and risk management. If you're position sizing yourself to be able to have multiple trades to learn, you're not going to blow up your account, right? If, I have, my options trades are anywhere between 1 and 3 to 4% of my account. So I would need to be wrong like 50 times in a row to blow up my account, which is just not going to happen. I'm not going to be wrong 50 times in a row. It's very difficult to be wrong 50 trades in a row. So just focus on your position sizing, guys. It's seriously the number one thing that I try to get across on my YouTube and on my Discord is if you have an account, you have to make sure you understand how much you can put into each position because, there's going to be losses. Losses are inevitable. All right, so that's the Nasdaq, and ES is very similar. ES is very similar. Here's the ES, and we can clearly see. Yeah, so like everyone says, keep your losses small, but right, it's a very vague statement, right? Everyone likes to say keep your losses small, and of course that's what you should do. But how do you keep your losses small? How do you keep your losses small is the question. Position sizing. Position sizing. Don't go buying $1,000 positions with a $2,000 account. Don't go buying $1,000 positions with a $5,000 account. That's still, what is that? That's still 50% of your portfolio, a little bit less. Don't go buying $1,000 positions with even $10,000 account. That's 10% of your portfolio. That's still large. So, guys, it's about position sizing. It's about not trying to chase the home run. Getting in anything larger than 5% on an options contract is basically trying to chase a home run, in my opinion. You got to understand what you're doing here. You're trading some of the riskiest assets on the stock market, right? Options trading is very, very risky, but it's sought out to be some kind of get rich quick scheme overnight. That's the main problem with trading, right? It's just looked at as, get rich quick overnight. I'm going to start trading options and I'm going to make $10,000 today. But that's why most people lose, because they can't think of it like that. All right, anyways, ES, you guys can see 45.10. It's a major level right here, 45.10. And you can see what did we do this morning in the pre-market? We cracked below it. We have a big crack below 45.10, a lower low. Lower low causes weakness. This is the hourly chart. Lower low causes weakness. Right here this morning, guys, you can clearly see previous resistance turns into support, turns into support again back on Friday of last week. We push higher, and now we are making a lower low. So we made lower highs, and now we are making lower lows. What is a lower high and a lower low? That is the definition of a downtrend. So the market in the short term is certainly downtrending. So keep an eye there. We are clearly downtrending here. If you push up to 45.10 again, then I would look to see a rejection, right? If you get a push into 45.10 this morning, guys, I would look for a rejection. That is exactly what I would be watching for. Push higher, rejection off previous support right here. If you get that, I would be looking for the downside. So that's what I'd be watching on the SPY today. If you get upside in the morning. If you do not get upside, I would be watching right here at these previous highs, right around 44.65. That's sort of where I would look for. And then after that, it's these lows down here, probably around 44.30. So all in this area, 44.60 to 44.30 is sort of the next area that I'd be watching, where this structure is here on the market. So that's what I'd be watching there. Yeah, major support at 443.36. Yeah, that's right here, 443. Right in this area, I agree. Right there, William. I sort of looking at that too. 443 on the SPY. So, yeah, right there, 443, 446 are the two next levels I'd watch on the ES to the downside. But overall, guys, lower low, lower high, downtrend is looking to begin. If we go to the hourly chart, we can see we are now trading back below the 100 SMA. And your next level is right around that 443. which we were just talking about, which is also the 20 SMA. So downside looks to be there. Let's see if that weakness continues to creep in today. That is what I'd be watching. Here's the Dow, and we can clearly see the Dow broke down below that 34.6. I'm going to delete that. I would be watching these previous lows right here. I would be watching 34.2 on the Dow, guys. 34.2. You can see support, support. If you break this 34.2, I think there's more downside to be had. That's a pretty big breakdown, right? That's actually a very clear head and shoulders formation. So if you break 34.2 on the Dow, that is a deal breaker for me. I think you are going to lose a lot of momentum if you start to break under that level, guys. 34.2 on the Dow looks to be the must-hold line right here. Because if you break that, there is not much on this move to hold us up. So you can see there's quite a bit of empty space here. That's a very big level there, 34.2. I'd keep that on watch. Okay, the Russell just nasty rejection at 21. This is probably one of your better trades right now, just playing puts on the Russell off 21. Wish I was sort of paying attention to that a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, playing puts off 2100 on the Russell just seems to continue to be the right play. You guys know 21 is a really tough resistance level, previous support, turning into a monster resistance here. IWM puts off this level could be a pretty nice play. It obviously was yesterday. We can see yesterday, if we go to the 5-minute chart, look at this. If we look at the 5-minute, look at that, man. I didn't even realize this happened yesterday on the Russell. Look how nasty that is. That's really nasty. Oh, man. I did not even look at this yesterday. Look at that. Look at that push into 21, and look how quickly you just got nailed to the downside, right off 2100. So 2100 is clearly the death level here on the IWM. Might not be a bad play to continue to play puts off IWM. On the IWM, it's 210, right? It's 210 on the IWM. So you guys can see, look at that push towards 210, and then really quick downside on the IWM. Russell puts, IWM puts off that 21 looks really interesting if you can get back into that. So to recap the futures, guys, weakness this morning. Lower lows created in the pre-market today. That is definitely a sign of confirmation for downside. In my opinion, if we get any type of fake push this morning, any type of fake push, let's say, we get a morning push, let's say we get some morning upside because of whatever reason, let's say it gets really crazy, I would look for this rejection right here. This would be a fantastic rejection point, right around this 14,750. That would be really nice to see. If you're looking for downside, you sort of want to see this push, because then it gives you that risk to reward. It gives you that opportunity, right? Just taking puts out of the gates could be a little risky today after a pretty nasty fall in the pre-market and yesterday. I would love to see this, and I would love to play that back to the downside because that would just set up a fantastic risk to reward, in my opinion. So I'll be looking for that. I'm not gonna get trapped in any kind of morning upside for sure today. I would not be bullish in the morning. If you get upside, I would look for the rejection. All right, guys, that's the futures. Let's go Tesla, because I know a lot of people are sort of watching this gap fill, and you can see right here, I think you need to break under 1052. The low of this candle here is 1053.60. Let me put that on the line. 1053.60. 1053.60 is the low of this candle right here. So if you get a break of that low, I think you're moving into the gap fill. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, 1053.60 is just about 10 points away this morning. I think if you break that 1053.60, then I think you move into the gap fill down to around 1025. So that's definitely what I'll be watching today. I'm going to see if we do get that gap fill. If we do, or if we get the break of that level, I will be looking to see if you get a 1053.60 breakdown. If you get that breakdown, I think you move into the gap fill, which is maybe right around this 1022 right here. You can see right in that area. Yeah, I don't really draw downtrends like that. I mean, you could have drawn a downtrend however it ended, right? You could have drew, let's say Tesla stopped here, you would have drawn the downtrend like this or this or this. Not really. It's just, yeah, the downtrend's there now. But I don't know if I don't know. I think this is a little bit more caused by the Federal Reserve news than just the downtrend overall. I think you probably I would have more trusted this if you got into this, right? You have this big structure up here. If you would have got into these previous highs, that's probably what I would have played off of, the 1205 rejection. But this downtrend can sort of be drawn in whatever way that your mind sort of makes it up. Could have been drawn like this. So I'm not too big into that downtrend, but yeah, it's there. If you want to draw it out, it's there. Just like that. So yeah, watching the gap fill, guys, 1053.60. If you get that breakdown, I think you move into, I've still been watching this, but thought yesterday we weren't going to see it. But you definitely are looking more likely to see it now after yesterday's downside. So watch out for that. Gap fill. Tesla, all right. Nvidia. Pretty ugly breakdown for Nvidia, guys. Under 270, not the best look for Nvidia for sure. Just wanted to break this one down for you guys. You can see Nvidia rejected really bad off 290. Really bad off 290 here. Just a clear rejection. Previous support into resistance. This 270 break sort of sucks. It's not the best thing to see here. 270 break really started to knock this thing down. And chip stocks have been very weak, guys. Chip stocks have been extremely weak. I think it's the supply chain issues. I think that's probably what's causing this. But I think you should see at least a move to around 245 on Nvidia, guys. You have a previous resistance here, previous resistance here, and I think you see at least 245. That's the next level that I'll be watching on Nvidia. You can see right there. Previous resistance. Do you get to pull back to 245? That is what I would be watching right there. 245 on Nvidia. You can see in the daily chart, 245 would come down to this pivot point right here. See this right here? 245 would be, a pullback right to that previous resistance, right to that level. Also right at the 50 SMA. So I think Nvidia comes down to 245, and I would look to see if you come down to that level today. Making everything bearish, I'm giving you a reason to be bearish as because the Nasdaq just created a lower low. So I think it would be foolish to think that everything is hunky-dory and we are all dandy for more upside. This is a pretty important breakdown. So I think it would be foolish to be sitting in the rose petals and butterflies this morning because that is a pretty nasty lower low that has formed. So I think your best bet is to look for more continuation on that. There might be some morning upside, but it is clear that the rejections have came in, guys. It's clear that over the last week, you can clearly see this was what we were doing previously, right? What have we done for the last week? We have done this, right? We went from this to this. So when the market goes from this to this, it's sometimes a little hard to react, but I think you need to react here. A little bit, right? I think you need to react here because this is a clear change in direction. This is the same reason why I was getting some backlash when I was turning bullish back here because the market was starting to hold up, was starting to consolidate rather than being a falling knife every day, right? We were starting to consolidate in this area rather than we went from falling knife to consolidation. And this time we're going from falling knife to the upside to consolidation. So I think you would be smart to react. Now, whether we're right or wrong, that is that is up to the market to decide. But I think the smart people would be reacting to this rejection and lower low. So I'm not bearish or bullish. I'm just telling you what the charts are showing. That is definitely what they're showing. Okay, Amazon. I want to keep an eye on Amazon because Amazon's coming down to a pretty important level here. So you guys can see right here, Amazon is coming down to this 3,200 again. So 3,200 is a pretty monster level right there. That is a previous support, turned into resistance, support, resistance. We broke through it. Now we're coming back to 32. So today, guys, I would watch the 32 level. I think this is going to be a pretty monster level for Amazon. If you guys trade Amazon, I think 32 is going to be a pretty monster level here. So I would just monitor this 32 today if you're watching it. Rejection, and support. I would be surprised to see it, but if it does hold support, that would be pretty strong in my opinion. However, if the Nasdaq just gets wrecked today, if we still see more downside today, intraday, I would be looking for maybe some type of break of 32, retest of 32, and downside. So 32, either way, is going to be your line in the sand today. That's going to be a big level. If you drop 32, I think you get very weak underneath it because there is not much under 32 here to hold Amazon up. You guys, look at how quick this move was here. This was basically vertical about 13%. So 32, sort of that area we consolidated. So watch out for 3,200 here today on Amazon. All right. Let's see. Let's look at Facebook. Let's look at the example of the break and retest just not working. Overall market conditions just sort of messing this up. Obviously, it's in the pre-market, and I'm probably going to take my loss on it, early morning. But here's just a good example of that retest just not working out, guys, because of this early morning downside. So, as you guys know, I was looking to see if Facebook could hold this to 231. You guys can see this was previous resistance. We got through it, and we came back to it yesterday. Now, intraday yesterday, we were starting to see this. So if we just look at this and we ignore what's happening right now, this is why I got some small, I put a little bit of money on the line for upside, is because I saw the very nice hold that continued to happen here at 231. Support, and support all day yesterday, right? All day yesterday, we held that level. So I said, okay, I'm going to put a little risk on the table with a stop under this retest level to see if I can get a nice bounce into tomorrow. Did not happen, right? Clearly did not happen. If we go to the hourly chart, we can see the Nasdaq weakness this morning has taken us clearly below the 231 retest. So this is just an example. I'm always going to show you guys, I'm not going to hide when I win and when I lose. I'm losing here. This is a loss. So this is an example of that retest just not working out. What did I do wrong here? I think I just got a little too aggressive on the upside with some clear market sort of consolidation and weakness. And maybe could have just held off in my head, could have said, okay, FOMC's tomorrow, just hold off on this one. So I think just sort of going against the market grain a little bit on the upside there on Facebook is what caused me to lose here. And a strong market, this would have probably worked out very nicely, but just a little bit of weakness overnight. And unfortunately, I can't change what happens overnight. So that's what I'm going to be faced with today. This was a $114 contract, which will probably open up at around 60 cents, something like that. So I'll lose maybe about $60. Maybe it opens up even lower. So pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive paper cut, but just wanted to share with you guys, what happened here on FB, why I'm going to lose on this trade. Okay. Is anything green this morning? You got oil green, energy green. Let's look at XLE. So XLE, is XLE up today? Yeah, guys. So let's keep an eye on the oil on the energy sector today. Let's make sure we're aware of what's going on over there, guys, because that is green. Now, that should be slightly green if the tech side is very weak. You can see oil is also having a pretty good upside, pretty nice pre-market. You guys can see right here, this is pre-market, and we are getting some upside on /CL, which is the oil futures. So XOM, CVX, right, Oxy, all your USO. So just keep an eye on this today, guys. You got some upside on the energy sector, which is the XLE. And you can see that this might be where some money flows into today. So just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Energy is, I think, the only sector that is green this morning, which is the XLE, that's CVX, that's XOM, that's USO, that is Oxy. Anything oil, gas related should see some upside here. Not sure how long it lasts, but want to make sure you're aware of that here early morning. So energy sector is green. If you want to look for outperformance, see what that does. One thing I wanted to show you guys was the XLP. This is consumer staples. I lost track of the XLP. I don't know if you guys remember my video that I made about the XLP bull flag. I lost track. I stopped watching the XLP after we sort of broke down here, but I did not realize how quickly this thing returned and moved back higher. So XLP is interesting. I'm not sure how good it will be in a weak market. It's not like a total inverse to the market, so it still will probably see weakness today. But keep an eye here, guys. If we start getting into a safety environment again, a little bit of risk-off environment again, if that starts to happen like it sort of did here back in November and December, watch out for XLP, because this thing has just broken out of this bull flag, and there was definitely some strength on the XLP names yesterday, right? Some of them, Procter & Gamble. This is one name that was relatively strong yesterday, sort of gave up its gains, but was strong early morning. You got Pepsi, big XLP name. Walmart's a pretty decent XLP name. Costco's another XLP name. Procter & Gamble, I already said. But just a sector that I would want to at least keep on watch this morning, or over the next few weeks, guys. Just giving you an overall idea of what sectors to keep on watch here between energy and consumer staples. This is a decent looking little move, and I would at least be monitoring what the XLP does moving forward. If we see any type of flight into safety, if you see any type of money moving away from heavy risk, then XLP and energy should be ones that sort of outperform. So watch out for these sectors, guys. XLP and energy. Okay, that is consumer staples and energy, of course. What else do we want to look at today? I'm going off just, what's in my head. Let's look at... go ahead and put some... all right, you want to look at Walmart? We'll look at Walmart. So Walmart, I still like Walmart. Why did I get into this trade? Why is this a potential trade opportunity for you guys as well? If you didn't watch my video yesterday, go more in depth here. But Walmart, and shout out to Sierra for sort of, I saw this coming, but Sierra sort of gave me that confirmation. So shout out to you, Sierra. Your entry sort of gave me more confidence. And I'm not going to lie, guys. When I see other people looking at the same trades as me in the Discord, it gives me a little bit more confidence, right? I'm saying, all right, they're seeing what I'm seeing. I like that we're on the same page here. It gives me a little bit more confidence to not follow them, but to say, okay, let me match up what they're looking at, and this is what I'm looking at. Let's put our analysis together here and say, where do we see the opportunity? Is it going to work? That's how I like to use the chat. And even though I'm the one that runs this chat, I love to hear what other people are looking at as well, and sort of get an idea of what everyone else is trading. So it's useful for me. And this definitely, I would like to see if Walmart works out here. So rejection, 152, big time rejection. You guys can see it's a very heavy channel. So big channel on the upside, big channel on the downside. We moved right back into this 152. Do we start to reject here? Why did I get a little bit more confidence after yesterday? Now, Sierra got into this early, so shout out to you, man. I think you're going to do really well on this one. I think you got into this on the way up, which there's nothing wrong with that as long as you have a good stop and you have, you can afford to, sort of scale into this downside. Yesterday gave me the confidence that I needed. Why? Because look at these wicks. The wicks is what gave me the most confidence. This wick back on Monday and this wick yesterday on Tuesday gave me a lot of confidence. What are these wicks showing? It's showing that the price action moved up and closed lower both days. Moved up, closed lower both days. So showing that those rejections are clearly there. And then on the 30-minute, you can clearly see both times that Walmart has pushed into this and pushed above 152. It has just nasty, nasty rejections. So I like this. Easy stop loss above the highs. 153.30, right in that area. Obviously stop out if we get above that level. And then to the downside, I think, you got some time. So I have some May contracts. Gives me about 45 days till expiration. And I want to see if I can just let this thing sort of fade. Similar to what it did here and similar to what it did here. So I am looking for a very similar move, maybe back down to that 145, which is just about 3-4% lower. So I would watch this trade, guys. I'm not saying it's, it's a 100% opportunity, but it's definitely has its technicals behind it. It definitely has a good risk to reward, in my opinion. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. All right. Let's go over to see what recommendations are in the... Yeah, I'll go over Apple. Let's look at the recommendations in the community tab today from you guys in the membership. It's okay. We don't have much, so we'll go over... We'll keep going into what you guys want to look at because not much recommendations there. LMT. What's LMT looking like? Yeah, LMT sort of holding that high. It's definitely trying to hold that high. Lockheed Martin. It's not a bad look. I would just be a little bit careful on stuff at all-time highs. It seems like it's going to be a little bit tough to hold the all-time highs. But yeah, that's a pretty decent looking hold. You guys can see right here. It's trying to hold that previous all-time high. Let me try to get more time here so we can see it. There we go. Look at that. So LMT trying its best to hold previous all-time highs as support, right? You can see it right here. Trying its best to hold previous all-time highs as support. A little bit of a wedge forming, right? A little bit of a wedge forming. Which way does this wedge break out? That's what I would sort of wait to see. So you can see LMT holding previous all-time highs around 440. I think you want to see it hold that 440 and then maybe look for a little bit more continuation. But yeah, nice hold at previous all-time highs. Apple. So Apple, it looks like this is just too tough of a level for Apple, guys. Obviously, it's going to get taken down with the tech sector. This 180 level just looks a little too tough, unfortunately. So you can see a little double top forming on Apple right here. Rejection, rejection, double top. That's not great to see. Clearly very difficult to get above 179, 180. Where do you need to see Apple hold? Where do you need to see Apple hold? You need to see Apple hold right here at this previous double bottom, right here around this 172. I think this is a must hold on Apple, guys. So 172, I think that's a major hold here. You guys can see right here. That is something you're going to want to see hold up today. If you break under 172, that is a pretty big breakdown. I'm pretty sure you can see it with the volume profile. If I pull it up, I would assume that it's pretty obvious to see here. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it right there. So on the volume profile, you can see under this 172, volume starts to weaken, right? You see this gap in volume here? So that's sort of what the volume profile is showing you. You can see right here, once you break 172, you get a really big decrease in volume. So this gap in volume sort of shows you that there's going to be a pretty quick move in this area. And if you crack the 172, you're probably going to move down into this 166s, where this next volume starts to meet up. So Really big gap in volume profile here. This is a really big level for Apple, 172. If this breaks down, if we close below 172 today, I think you're going to see some pretty quick downside. So just watch out for that. You might hold it, but I just want to make sure you're aware. There's a big gap in volume profile here. You can sort of tell when there's a gap in volume profile, so I don't use it a lot, guys. You know, if you know what these indicators are showing, you know, I know that there's going to be a gap in volume profile here because there's just no structure, right? There's no consolidation. It's just straight up. So it's very easy to tell where the volume profile sort of weakens without even pulling it up. Okay. Let's look at BABA, because we've been watching this 110 level on BABA, guys. This is potentially a very nice play incoming. I have a guy in the chat who is in some BABA puts, and I was telling him, hey, watch out for 110, right? I don't know if that was the chat or if was that in the disc or in the live stream. I'm not sure, but BABA is below 110, and this is a big level. This is another level that we probably can see volume profile on. Yeah. You can definitely see this. Look at this. So if you look at BABA here, you see all this structure, all this volume profile right above 110. See 110 right here? See where that last volume dies off? It's right at 110, guys. 110, support, and support. Look at where that dies off. Look what the volume, look at what dies off under 110. It gets really weak down here. So, BABA, under 110 today, guys. This might just be a fantastic watch here. You needed to hold 110. That was like the last structure point, and you are now trading below it this morning. You can see right here, guys, it is getting weak too. I would watch BABA today. Yeah, I would definitely be watching BABA today. That's definitely one of my watches under 110. Good recommendation there. Do we have any gaps? Oh, we have this gap right here, don't we? Yes, we do. We have that gap that went above 110. I remember that now. Okay, so we got the 110 break right here. We got a gap to fill down to 103. Right? Remember this gap? Yeah. I would watch BABA today down to 103. You got the 110 breakdown. Volume profile dies off really heavy. I would watch it to 103. Yeah, you got a gap on the 4-hour, Savage. Right here. So, that's another one I'd be watching. Okay, I'm going to go over Qdel. That is one of the ones that the members want to look at. So, I got to honor that request. Qdel. Yeah, you're pushing into some resistance on Qdel here. Yeah, you're looking for downside. Yeah, you might see if it rejects this 116 level. Wait for like a nice red candle to sort of break down here on Qdel. Maybe wait for this uptrend to break, and then look to see if this can start to reject. If you're looking for downside here, look for the double top. Maybe look for the rejection, a lower low. This needs to break right here. And just wait for the confirmation to show in. I mean, that's really what you got to wait for. You got to wait for the confirmation. Right now, this chart does not look very bearish to me. But if it did one of these, right, if it sort of broke down here, broke under these lows of this week, then yeah, then you get a little bit more confirmation, right? So I would wait for the confirmation. But yeah, that looks like a decent area for Qdel to reject. Previous support turning into resistance. You need to wait for it to sort of reject, though. IPGP. Yeah, I mean, I would just do nothing but short this and close your eyes. I mean, that's sort of what it's been doing for the last year. So, yeah, look for a 103.5 breakdown. That's a very nasty bear flag right here. Very nasty bear flag. Really bad day yesterday. Is this... Yeah, I mean, whatever this stock is, it's not good. It's been clearly dying for almost a year now. And all-time lows 98.04. I would assume if you get a break of 4-hour. If you get a break of this 103.5, you're going to move down to 98. 103.5 you're going to move down to 98. Watch out for the breakdown of these lows. All right. What else can we look at before I head out here, guys? Netflix rejecting 400 pretty bad. You guys can see right here. Pretty ugly rejection at 400. See rejection, double top on Netflix, starting to move lower. So I'd watch out for that 400 level. That looks really tough on Netflix, guys. Looks like it's going to be very difficult to get over there. Upstart. Yeah, Upstart's just sort of consolidating in this channel. You guys can see right here the lows of around 84. You just continue to sort of make lower lows, lower highs at this point. So I think Upstart probably moves down to 84, 85. Palantir. I couldn't help you with Palantir, my man. I'm sorry. It's this stock is dead. It's dead money. I don't even know why anyone's in Palantir. But yeah, it's probably going to reject like everything else. If the Russell's rejecting, if the RTY is rejecting, Palantir is going to reject also. AMD. Yeah, AMD's weak, guys. Chip stocks have been really weak. Chip stocks have been under a lot of pressure. The supply chain has been affecting these chip stocks quite a bit. So I would not look for much to the upside here. These stocks have been really, really beat down. It looks to me as though AMD is about to move back to 100. It looks to me as AMD is going to move back to 100. I mean, why would it not at this point? All right, you're right back in that 100 area. So I would look for AMD at 100. It's very weak. This is the only structure left at $100. All right, last but not least, we're going to look at Twitter. And is Twitter possibly a fantastic, short opportunity? I hate to say it. It's very against this pump, but I don't see how Twitter holds up in this type. If the market really does get weak here, Twitter is absolutely, demand for chips is absolutely not gone. No. Who said that? Why would the demand for chips be gone? That's just if you think the demand for whoever said that, I don't know who said it, but you that is totally false. Please do not spread that false news. Why would the demand for chips be gone? There's millions of cars out there waiting for. Why would that be gone? I don't get that. Why would the bank say that either? Anyways, yeah, Twitter, huge gap on the weekly chart between 40 and 48. And does this fill the gap? Does this fill the gap? I don't know. I was just saying chips in general. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, chips in general, the demand is absolutely not gone. So you guys can see big gap here on this Twitter chart. Potato chips, maybe, yeah. So I don't know. I would be watching this. I would be watching this Twitter gap. I would be watching this Twitter gap. I don't know when it fills, but it probably will eventually. Right there in that Twitter gap. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for being here. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Sorry it was a little late today. I am not going to be on tomorrow or Friday, just to give everyone a heads up. So no live stream tomorrow or Friday. I'm really sorry about that. It's been a really crazy week for me. I'm really looking forward to getting this week over with because I just want to sit at my house. I don't know if you probably don't know me personally, but I'm a very big homebody. I'm a very big introvert. I don't like to do things. So I just want to get this week over with. I got some trips I need to go on this week. And once that's over, I can just sit and look at stocks and work at my house without any interruptions. I feel like there's been too many interruptions lately for me. I had to go away to New York. I got to go away again tomorrow. So a lot of interruptions. It is what it is. I don't want to be a slave to what I do. I don't want to be a slave to work. You got to live sometimes, right? So part of me hates that I have to go away and do these things, but part of me says, you know what, you probably should take a break. So I won't be here Thursday and Friday, guys. I apologize. Have a good week. Have a good rest of your week. Stay safe. Try to remember the risk management I try to talk about as much as I can. Try to make sure you focus on position sizing. It might be a tough end of week, guys. So am I that upset that I'm missing Thursday and Friday of this week? I'm not that upset about it. I'm thinking it might be a little bit of a tough trading week for the rest of the week with FOMC. Yeah, you want to see my Turo? Want to see how crazy this shit is? Let's see if I can show this without giving away any information here. Here we go. Okay, look at this. So last month I made $952. This month I'm gonna make probably another $9. What is that? 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 7, 8, 9. So almost $1,000 in in each month so far. Which is pretty great. I mean, my car payment's like $350. So to make $2,000, well, this is upcoming earnings, right? This 626 is like, it's already booked out to the end of the month, basically. So to make $2,000 in 2 months on a $350 car payment is pretty big. I mean, that pays for my car for like it's almost 7 months. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have an extra car and you don't really care about it, and you can just sort of throw it out, it's a Honda Accord. That I don't drive. So it just goes out, comes back, goes out, comes back. Another $2,000 a month. Works. It works so far. If you guys got an extra car that you're trying to find some cash to, take advantage of, Turo's not a bad idea. You just cannot have emotional attachment. You cannot have emotional attachment to the car. If you have any type of emotional attachment to the car, it is not going to work. I can't care about how the car comes back. I can't care about what people are doing with the car. That's the key. No emotional attachment. All right. It's a Honda Accord. All right, guys. Have a great day. You make $6K with 4 cars. That's sick, Danny. That's sick, man. Make $6K with 4 cars here in San Fran. All right. So thank you guys again for being here. Subscribe to the channel. Press the like button. And Passat would do great. Random. I will see you guys next week. Peace out.